State Representative Alan Seabaugh back to KEEL. Hey, Mr. Allen, thank you for taking time for us. How are you this morning? Probably tired and more than a little frustrated, perhaps?
That's a pretty good description, yes. But otherwise, it's a beautiful morning. I'm sitting on my back porch, and, things are okay. The sun did come up this morning, so I guess we're going to be fine.
So following last week's wrap-up of another special session, what I called it for 2018, Special Session 3.0, Louisiana is still, I guess, the highest taxed, sales tax-wise, state in the country. Am I wrong?
I think that's correct. I haven't looked. I know we were before, and so I assume we still are. I mean, the 5 cent, the extra fifth penny was going to go away and put us back in the mainstream where we've been for years prior to the increase in 2016. And it's really sad that happened. I mean, the Pelican Institute came out with a note indicating that a half-cent sales tax, which is essentially what got passed, was going to cost, I forget the numbers, like 3,000 or 4,000 jobs.
2,800 jobs, yeah.
2,800, okay. 2,800 jobs leaving the state, likely because of it. And it was unnecessary. And the real problem is the perception. My Facebook page is covered with people saying, I'm leaving Louisiana now. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of it. The state's never going to get ahead because they keep punishing the people that are still here. On and on and on. And I don't really agree with that. I'm not one that's going to run for the borders. But the fact is, businesses do leave states that tax them a lot. I mean, there was an article that I actually linked on my Facebook page. It was focusing on 5 states: New York, California, Connecticut, New Jersey, and Minnesota, where they're expected to lose combined 1.4 million people over the next couple of years because they are taxed so heavily.
Well, how do you feel, Alan, when you hear the governor in his speech last night saying, we're lowering your taxes?
That's a lie. I mean, that's just a lie. There's no other word for it. If the bill doesn't pass, your state sales tax rate is 4%. The bill passed, so it's 4.45%. That's a tax increase. No matter how you slice it or dice it, even the author of the bill admitted it on the floor. I mean, that's saying he lowered your taxes is simply not true. It was 4% when he was elected. It's 4.45% now. And if the bill had not passed, it would have been 4%. So there's no truth in that statement at all.
I talk all the time, and I refer to you guys as the Trinity of No, and I say that with all the respect in the world. It's you and Dodie Horton and Raymond Cruz, and the 3 of you guys voted no again. Hooray for you. But I'm looking at the list, and it's the number of Republicans that backed this increase. It's not unsubstantial, is it?
No, it's more than half of the delegation voted for it. I mean, the speaker voted for it. It was essentially what happened over the course of the first special session. We won substantially. The second special session, it was closer, and they just picked people off one at a time here or there.
How'd they do that, Alan? Did they make them promises?
Great question.
Yeah, they threatened to veto projects, road projects. They promised things to people in their areas. Several of those people want to run for other jobs, so they promised to capital outlay projects. They promised to hire brothers-in-law. I mean, there's a lot. There was a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on, and one by one they picked people off, and they didn't have to pick off that many.
Have you suffered as a result of your opposition? Are you losing projects? What's this going to hurt you?
I don't ask for projects. I mean, I ran for office on not doing that, and no earmarks and no special projects. I've supported 2 projects in my career. That was the crime lab and the engineering building at Louisiana Tech. Other than that, I've never asked for a project other than those 2, and I don't. But no, I did get all my bills vetoed this year. I passed 2 bills at the request of the insurance commissioner that went through both houses with no opposition, unanimous support, and support of the insurance industry. Everybody involved supported, and he vetoed them. And the reason he said it was unnecessary regulation on the industry, and that's the exact opposite of what the bill did. I mean, it was purely political retribution.
We know we had the story last week that for Raymond Cruz, that the state money for, the lights on Barksdale Boulevard, that John Bell moved that around. Am I wrong there?
don't know about that.
Yeah, he pulled that out of the capital outlay projects. He said we're not going to move forward with that one.
So here's
I don't know that was punishment to Raymond, because that's Ryan Gaddy's district as well, and Ryan supported everything he's done. So that would be kind of counterproductive to be punishing Ryan.
Well, Ryan voted no last night. Let's make that clear. He was one of the 6 no votes.
Ryan voted no because he wanted a full half cent. The 0.45 wasn't big enough. I mean, let's be clear about that. Ryan didn't vote no because he didn't want the tax increase. Ryan voted no because he wanted it to be bigger. I mean, he said on your show he needed to be the full half cent. I mean, Ryan's voted for every tax increase that's come down the pike except the ones that he didn't think were big enough.
So here's the question that pains me to ask, Alan, and I apologize in advance. Did John Bell win?
Well, yeah. I mean, we had the biggest budget in Louisiana history. We had enough money to fund everything and have a surplus left over for all kind of road projects and good stuff. And we didn't need to raise taxes, but he demanded more and more and more, and he got it. So there's going to be a surplus. There's really everybody involved believes there's going to be a surplus, and the governor kind of telegraphed that he believes there's going to be a surplus by the shenanigans they pulled when they amended the bill in the Senate, trying to give the governor absolute discretion on how to spend the surplus. With the Supreme Court ruling on the internet sales tax, the price of oil, there's several other pockets of money that we believe are going to come in. I expect $200 to maybe as much as $800 million to come in above what REC has recognized to this point. And the governor was trying to get us to put that in a slush fund to give him sole discretion on how to spend it. He didn't get that passed, but joint budget can still do it. But but yeah, absolutely. I mean,
he also
the governor.
I'm
yeah,
sorry,
the governor
Alan.
won.
He also said last night, and I know this is going to make your skin crawl, he told reporters the state general fund, and I'm quoting, is $1 billion less than it was 10 years ago. Can you explain to people so they understand why they keep referring back to 2008?
2008 was an anomaly if you look at it because of all of there was two reasons. The Stelly taxes were still in place. They didn't go away till 2009. And the post-Katrina investment money, billions of dollars came in from the federal government. So 2008 was a blip. If you compare it to 2006 or 2010, it's $1 billion bigger than it was. But 2008 was an anomaly. If you look at it on a chart, the 2008 and to some extent 2009 are outliers way above the trend. So, he loves pointing to 2008, but 2008 is not a real number. If you compare it to 2006 or 2010, in any of those other years, 2007, any of those other years, it's more than $1 billion bigger.
So one more question, Mr. Allen. How long till John Bell, how long till the governor comes back to the people of Louisiana and or to you, the legislators, and says, we need more money?
I mean, next year's a re-election year, and it's also a fiscal session, so he'll have that opportunity next year. I will be surprised if they have this fight next year in a re-election year. In fact, I think the fight ought to be to repeal this 0.45 cent that just passed next year, because there's going to be a surplus. There's going to be proof that it's not necessary and that we ought to give it back to the people of Louisiana. The fight next year ought to be to repeal that. I don't know if that'll go anywhere, but I doubt very seriously that he hits too hard for tax increases in a re-election year. But, he surprised me a lot with his lack of political acumen and some of the stuff that he's done. I mean, his approval ratings have taken a serious hit this year because people have finally figured out who he is. And the bottom line is he's making the other Governor Edwards look conservative. He is the biggest tax and spend liberal governor Louisiana has ever had, and it's not even close. And the state is absolutely suffering from an economic standpoint and from a morale standpoint. People in Louisiana are starting to, 5 years ago, people weren't running for the exits. They are now. And, I mean, I saw two polls put out by moving companies, Allied Van Lines, and I forget who the other one was, and showing states. And we're the only southern state that there's more people moving out than in. We're the only southern state losing population. We're also coincidentally only the southern state, the only southern state with a liberal Democrat governor that keeps raising taxes. That's not a coincidence. People are running to states like Texas and Tennessee and Florida that have no income tax, or North Carolina or others that have recently lowered their taxes. Businesses are going to move to states that treat them better, not states that try to tax them into oblivion. And it's simple economics, and it's been proven over and over and over again. And the governor refuses to learn the lessons of history. He's trying to tax Louisiana into prosperity, and it's just not going to work. And what all you do is you demoralize people, and you cause businesses to leave. You chase investment away. The college students are all now running for the borders. The only reason TOPS funding was ever in jeopardy is because the governor didn't want to fund it. We had the money in the beginning. In February, we had the money to fully fund TOPS. He just didn't want to because TOPS was the kicker that got him that picked up 5 or 6 votes that he needed to get to 70 votes to pass that tax. So it was blackmail.